Day 3 of College Call of Duty Regional Playoffs, and we have the Grand Finals kicking things off in the Northeast region. Hi, everyone. My name is Quinn, better known as Colorblind, joined in the booth with the magnificent Matt Man, who's all ready to go with that beautiful, beautiful coat on. How you feeling, Matt?
Oh, brother, I am ready to get into a championship Sunday here in the CCL regionals, as you mentioned, and it doesn't get better than this, man. You've got two of the tippity top teams of the top 25 in the CCL about to battle it out here. No best of 5. We've got a best of 7 on the cards, Quinn, and we're about to get reared and ready to go right into it.
Yeah, not just two of the two top teams. This very well could be a preview of the national championship from what we are seeing right here, right now. Let's not stall. Let's start breaking our way into Fisher College taking on St. Clair for the Northeast Regional title. You take a look across the board through the regular season. It was picture perfect for both squads, but things changed ever so slightly yesterday with St. Clair losing a map against CMCC and then losing 3 maps against Fisher College to go down into that loser's bracket where they then have worked their way back up. But again, regular season, these teams were flawless.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at it, you talked about it. Picture perfect records across the board in the regular season. And obviously, here in this bracket, it's gotten a little mixy for this team. But you look at the side of Fisher Esports, they have gotten here to this grand finals without dropping a map, keeping that pristine perfect record from the regular season. So look, this is for St. Clair Saints, potentially an upset for them going into this. They have to be on all guns a-blazing. They have to be on all of their fundamentals because, Quinn, you know that Fisher Esports are going to bring all of that and so much more.
And hey, they beat Fisher before. They beat Fisher's B team, that being said, the Fisher Falcons, to get here. And you beat up on the little brother, but now you have to go through the big brother. And as we said, a rematch of the winners finals. Not a best of 5, but now a best of 7. First of 4 will win it. But when we go back to that best of 5 in the winners finals, Fisher College handled it easily 3-0. Let's get a lay of our land here with the maps. In a best of 7, of course, there's going to be 7 maps, and we will kick it off with a vault hardpoint getting early and often into it. Rewind S&D, Vault Control, Red Card, Hardpoint, and then if we need them, Hacienda, Protocol await us in the wings. Matt, talk to me about this map setup.
I mean, Quinn, something that makes me really nervous heading into this, particularly on the side of the St. Clair Saints, is this the exact 3 maps that you got 3-0'd on in the winners finals, right? Vault Hardpoint, 250 to 140, Rewind 6-2, and Vault in the 3-1 fashion. I mean, this is just an absolute same story, same font from what we had in the winners finals. You'd like to see St. Clair maybe try to switch up the map set on them, but it looks like they're feeling confident, obviously coming off the win against the old Fisher B squad. But again, heading into this one, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, and you're looking for the St. Clair Saints to right the wrongs from that winners finals.
Yeah, and again, just insult to injury. They've lost 2 Vault Hardpoints, 2 Map 1 Vault Hardpoints. That was the same map that they lost to CMCC yesterday. Yeah. And when we were talking about that map, right, a lot of it was the rotations not being prioritized. I believe they didn't take a rotation through the first set of Hill. It was ridiculous. It was just not what we see out of this team. Usually their fundamentals are so very good. They just have to get back to that. They have to settle in early. We know that they can bring the gunny. I mean, when you have a squad like this, Rupert Cootie, C-Wads, KB, a squad that's not only wreaking havoc within the CCL, not only the 1 seed of their region, but a squad that is even doing dirty work up in the challenger side of things. You know that this team can play hardpoint. They've just got to get back to that rotational gameplay, get themselves set up, reared, ready to go, play for the map control, and then let the gunny bolster that. I mean, for the side of Fisher College, though, they still haven't dropped a single map all season, all 3-0s across the board within this bracket. So, as you said, a little bit of deja vu here through the first 3 maps, but of course, in a best of 7, you need 4 to win it. St. Clair's not going to want to put their hopes and dreams on a red card hardpoint, though, Matt, we know.
I would be a little bit disappointed if it did get put all on a red card. I think anybody would. But
ridiculous.
Look, heading into this series, it's obviously a lot more pressure here on the side of the St. Clair Saints, where it is about righting those wrongs. But we talk about kind of the mental going into this for Fisher, and we were talking about it in the green room, how Fisher may be a little bit cold heading into this one. Obviously, the St. Clair Saints, you mentioned it, they've been playing in the challenger scene all day, they've been playing in the CCL bracket all day, and they've been wreaking havoc throughout the losers bracket. I mean, you go up against the names like Temp and Major Maniac, and you you put them in a 3-0 smoke show that's not even close, you do have a little bit of moxie, as you like to say, coming into this series to try to get that revenge. They've got a little bit longer stretch to go, as you mentioned, a best of 7, and like you said, partner, it's grand finals. All the scripts out of the window, all the flyovers hitting you right now. Vault Hardpoint, our venue for this map number 1 between the St. Clair Saints and the Fisher Esports squad. Quinn, any early predictions as we are about to get into this one, partner?
Hey man, this could go either which way. We saw how it went before in favor of Fisher College, but the St. Clair Saints, they're coming in. They are looking for some revenge. After beating one Fisher team, can they beat the other one, or does Fisher College bear down in what could very well be a preview of the national championship when all is said and done? The region on the line in the Northeast. Let's kick it in. Vault Hardpoint, a best of 7, Fisher College, St. Clair Saints.
Nothing like a championship Sunday on a Vault Hardpoint, nonetheless. The nades, the stuns, everything ringing out here early as Cootie gets into the action early, finds the first, traded right back on out, but we've got a mixy barrage of kills starting to enter as the fight for P1 is on.
Just trying to play for that early time on the board. Never going to sell your soul for it, as we always love to say in this P1 side. But for Fisher, you're trying to work your way over towards this P2 side. Already 30 seconds off the clock here. Fisher working their way forward, advancing their way up the catwalk, and just trying to find any angles you possibly can. But the gunning from the St. Clair Saints is preventing them from doing so, as they will maintain these P2 side spawns for now.
Yeah, and you're looking at Fisher right here to potentially gain a little bit of scrap time off this P1. They're trying to manipulate their way over onto that side of P2, but this is a good setup for St. Clair Saints off this opening break, setting themselves up for the next hard point, getting that early rotation on. Not necessarily showing up in the kills, though, as it is going to be Fisher with a few off for the rotos.
Good disruption from the St. Clair Saints to maintain these good side spawns. And now for Fisher, you're looking for an opportunity to try and cut your way over towards the P2 side. No opportunity presenting itself necessarily. Phantoms will be able to find 2, though, so that does reduce St. Clair's reinforcements ever so slightly, but the respawns are in. Bolstering down over towards this P2 side. Fisher needed a break.
That's 2 big kills from Bulk Up Matt to open up the fray. My twin, as I love to say, and Fisher Esports already into the action. But KB around through the back is going to be able to make this a little bit more difficult. Finds the kill here, turns a few heads with the pistol as well, Quinn. St. Clair might be right back on the break.
St. Clair looking for the break, and 3 dead in the feed is just going to seamlessly present itself in their favor. KB as well, wiping the player off. But now for Fisher, you've got these good side spawns. Can you make good on them is the question. Hit 2, Electric Boogaloo getting shut down at the seams as St. Clair immediately finds 3. Brack, the one-man band over towards his P2 side, looking for the scrap, is not going to find it. So St. Clair will take the lead off of this hill. Seawad solidifying it, as well as the rotation over towards P3 has started. And I love what I'm seeing out of St. Clair. They were quick and honest over towards this side of the map, Matt.
Yeah, and not only that, reading perfectly into the spawns. You mentioned it, Fisher gets the close side spawns, but it doesn't turn out to be the good side because they just get absolutely spawn trapped. The rotations go all the way over. And now for look at St. Clair here, now with the top art pressure, has the good side of the map once again for P4. This is a huge opportunity for them early into this map 1.
Your twin's going to need to make some good work over towards that top art side, but as we say, the rest of his reinforcements are going to fall. He will find that kill over towards top art, so Bull Cut Matt has an opportunity to set his team up for success. Fisher trying to work their way through the top side of the map. Cootie, the first line of defense, will look to strike, but he will be struck down instead. Rupert will be able to maintain these good side spawns unless St. Clair doesn't maintain them. And hold on, wait a minute, things get flipped on its head.
I mean, it's just too much pressure from Fisher. They've pushed up enough to where they can now spawn St. Clair out. They found all the kills they need and now have set themselves up in tow for this P4. They are locked in for the money hill. Quinn, you look up at the time through 3, we're just about at a dead even split, but this could be the moment where Fisher could separate themselves throughout this first set.
St. Clair had such a good hold, but it all falls apart at the seams in the final seconds. Fisher with an opportunity, as you said, over towards this money hill to really get some good time on the board. A lead switch now in tow. Now for Dylan Rex, the first line of defense on the outskirts of this P3 building. Looking for an opportunity to strike early and quick, but instead it's the nade straight to the forehead that gives an opportunity. Now an opportunity presenting itself for the St. Clair Saints. A red carpet into the hill, which they will solidify with a couple of kills.
And right through the backlines they go. It's just too easy for the St. Clair Saints. And right now for Fisher, not necessarily seeing the dominance that we're used to from them, especially early on. And you talked about it for St. Clair. They have looked a lot better here throughout this Vault Hardpoint than we've seen them throughout this bracket and throughout this tournament, Quinn. Nice lead here heading into this second set of rotations, but it's still just about even as Fisher College is right on your tail.
And again, this is as mixy as it gets on a Vault hardpoint. Which team will be able to separate themselves in the second set of rotations is the question. A couple of kills on the outside of the play. St. Clair working their way into these P2 side spawns. Fisher will still maintain them, so a couple of kills needed for St. Clair to really gain that full map control. But in the middle portion of the map, you're watching Fisher absolutely dice them to pieces. You finally are able to give yourself a little bit of a buffer if you are KB and Rupert, who find one apiece, pushing Fisher back, but Bull Cut Matt looking to wreak some havoc from behind.
And there's just a lot of white hill time for both of these teams. No one really able to get on, dip their toes in so far, as Phantoms is just doing the dirty work in towards the mid area. Continuous trades go back and forth, and finally, KB's able to get himself on the hill, and Quinn, what feels like just a little bit of a slowdown. But look at this position right now. Everyone from Fisher Esports spawning out towards this pool side, and you've got multiple players in the St. Clair Saints looking for the cutoff kills. Back into this P2, Quinn. It's another great setup for the boys in white.
St. Clair just continuously winning these trade battles. Cody doing everything for his squad. Puts a man on skates. Will be taken down, though. But for Fisher, you have a tall task up ahead, trying to trace your way over towards this P2 side, which once again, the St. Clair Saints are going to win that rotation. We talked about the need to get back to the fundamental gameplay. They have done that, but you're also seeing your subs. You're also seeing your ARs doing everything for the squad. Everybody clicking on all cylinders. For Fisher Esports, there doesn't seem to be a response.
But it might come through. Brack, he finds two inside of this P2. A dip, a duck, and a dodge. Teammates come in for the trades. Phantoms there's for two. KB still finds one, but Fisher Esports find the break. You have one player in C-Wads and the set of Rupert Skywalker that are now in the back, so it's kind of an artificial pinch here coming from the side of the Saints, but are they going to be able to find the break?
30 seconds left, and this could very well be the turn of the tides needed. The St. Clair Saints are going to need to make some big plays, but Bull Cut Matt going to shut it down from the front side. Do you expect the backside hit, though, from the St. Clair Saints is the question. The answer is no. You're able to bolster it down here if you are Fisher, and for St. Clair, you're just all around this hill, but not getting the creams that you might want.
And it's just the kills that are just a little bit too mixy. It's the trade battles just not being won from the St. Clair Saints, but now both teams kind of cutting their losses here, trying to hit this rotation over towards the P3 side, Quinn. And once we slow down again, as it's just about dead even, this P3 becomes a lot more important because it's not only the hill time you're worried about here, it's that positioning for that back guard and that P4 side.
Back guard position going to be gained by Phantoms. That being said, Fisher Esports working their way up the map over towards this P3 side, as you said, could potentially be an artificial money hill for one of these squads. They can set themselves up for good success, and at a point like this where things are as dead even as they are, you're going to look to get some good time off of it. That's exactly what the St. Clair Saints are doing. Some divine intervention will further solidify their positioning here. Spawn out from Fisher, though, could create an artificial pinch and throw everything into dismay.
Yeah, you have to look at number 6, but number 1 spawns behind him as well, so Spawn's a little bit all over the place, and you're right, as number 6 comes through the back, able to find that kill. 2-for-1 trade for the side of Fisher, but Cootie still in this bottom arc, looking to be that thorn in the backside. Finds one, but not the second. Fisher will hold on, but again, when you're fighting for that P4 side, this is a little bit mixier than you want, as C-Wads is starting to create through the back lines as well.
Fisher Esports working their way over towards this P4 side, do have the bottom of the map under their control, as well as that top art positioning that Bull Cut Matt is maintaining. C-Wads, though, working his way into the bottom portion of art. Now the information being gained. A slide shallow on through, and C-Wads will be able to win it. So now, player personnel advantage over towards this P4 hill. That's exactly what the St. Clair Saints are going to take advantage of. Cootie on the outskirts is going to shut down Brack. Gains the spawns for the Saints, and now an opportunity to get some good time on the board.
And that's the second time they've done that, Quinn. Right through the back lines of the St. Clair Saints just continue to find openings off this P4, and now Fisher all the worse for it. You're now starting to watch that lead just slip into the distance. You have to bust in through the front, but Phantoms will do it. Finds the kill necessary, but the trades are there. St. Clair Saints find 3 right back in tow, take control of the hill, and Quinn, all of a sudden you're looking up at the lead, and the St. Clair Saints have now solidified over a 50-point lead. They can continue to soak up this scrap and head into that third set of rotations fully in the driver's seat.
Fisher's brute force tactics, they're not working because St. Clair is playing so fundamentally well within their own. They're winning the trade battles consistently. They're also maintaining that map control across the board. It feels like they have had it. Now for Fisher Esports, you're looking at the barrel of about a 30 points off of this P4 and a 70-point deficit. This is tough goings over towards this P1 side as we start our third set of rotations. Trying to keep things mixy in the middle portion of the map. Fisher gonna find a couple of kills. Bull cut Matt over towards the top side will solidify an opportunity for them to maybe get some time on the board. St. Clair not going to go away without a fight, looking for the second hit on into the hill. Rupert going to be the point man for that. A couple of kills matriculate their way, and the Saints continue to beat them to smithereens in the kill department.
And I mean, it's just too easy, cutting them like a hot knife through butter. And Fisher right now, all the worse. I mean, you're looking at this lead. It just keeps growing for the side of the Saints. Back over towards this P2 side, you do have one player that slipped into the backlines in Phantoms, and he's the guy that has to make this play heading into new if Fisher wants a chance at bringing this map back.
His reinforcements will be there quickly, but he has to play his life. He wins the one on Cootie, and that could be massive for a setup here that Fisher so desperately needs. Again, 70 points separating them between the Saints. So now the Saints, with these backside spawns, an opportunity to make their way on in, but Fisher not going to want to let them get it by any stretch of the imagination, as things could completely fall apart. Phantoms continuing to have a generational run in this life will be able to shut that down from the backlines. St. Clair, though, still lurking in these backlines.
Yeah, they're just spawning back there right now, and if Fisher can just read into this, continuously spawn trap them, this could be a perfect play for them here. But all of a sudden, Cootie able to find two, trying to slide in for the third, but the trades are there. 4 dead in the feed, and the St. Clair Saints get a big 25 seconds of scrap. Now for Fisher Esports, you have to wonder, do you cut your losses? Do you hit back on into this? And now this could be the dagger moment for the side of the Saints.
Such a tough decision to be making, and Saints are going to make the decision for them in the kill department. Rupert activates for 3. Cootie with a little bit of help as well. Cootie on the brink of a 30-kill game. Now you turn the rotation over towards this P3 side where the St. Clair Saints, they can win it easily here. Nearly 100 points separating them between Fisher with the rotation, but can they hold it is the question.
And I mean, this is just an absolute slamming right now. 226 to 143. You mentioned Cootie on the 30 bomb. There's 4 players that could drop 30 if this game continues right now for the Saints. You see Fisher able to get in for a little bit of time, Quinn, but it looks like a little bit too late for me. You still only need 24 seconds here. St. Clair Saints need 1 break into this hill. Cootie will find the opening kill, and that could be a little bit of time here for the Saints heading back into P4.
The opener to what could be the back-breaking moment. The Fisher, they have to get here. They have to get on the hill here, and now a couple of kills will swing their way to at least gain them some temporary entrance. KB getting shut down as well is going to give an opportunity for Fisher to collect at least 20 seconds of time, and the St. Clair Saints are spawning out a little bit. KB going to try and work his way over from Statue side. It's just not going to present itself necessarily here. Fisher with the good rotation over towards P4. They're not going away.
But again, how many times have we seen the St. Clair Saints just break into this hill so easy? Yeah. Fisher has the potential here, though, to bring this map back slightly. If they're able to get a full 60, get this almost knotted up, go to another set of rotations. But it has to be perfect, Quinn, and the break is right on the outside.
Rack set up to try and bat it down, but you just have so little margin for error here. 1 clean dead in the feed could win the game for the St. Clair Saints, that they are looking for it here and now. Cootie striking as well as KB to back him up from behind. Now the back is breaking for Fisher. You have to win these ones, and you will. You're still having to put away the Saints ever so slightly. You still have 1 player to deal with. Sea-Watch looking to play his life. He will not be able to do so. Fisher going to cross this 200-point barrier. Hold on, wait a minute.
They send everybody back to the respawns, Quinn, so all of a sudden now for the Saints, you have to wonder, do you play for this P4? Do you hold for P1? You're watching all this time go away. You're watching everyone die inside of the kill feed. Fisher is all of a sudden activated late into this map. Still 10 seconds to garner. Quinn, they're going to be down just about 10, heading into another set of rotations. This vault may come right down the wire, and they're finding the kills they need.
Oh, Bullcomat making the good work over towards his P1 side, but he's a one-man band, and as soon as his Symphony is shut down, you need to get these players on into the hill for the side of Fisher. This might be the opportunity St. Clair has been looking for. It doesn't come on P4, might come here and now on P1. Justifiable kills being found. Fisher has to go.
It's just one last break. It's one last break in, trying to knock down through the front door, but the first kills go either which way. KB's able to find the trade. 3 for 1 dead in the feed. The 4th to fall, and that will be St. Clair Saints taking map number 1.
250 to 225, the first map that Fisher has dropped all season long comes in the first map of the regional grand finals for the Northeast Division. My goodness, absolute cinema to kick us off. St. Clair, they have come to play. They are looking warm.
Oh, brother, and I mean, it just looked like Fisher was about to make it happen. It looked like they were going to yank the tablecloth right from him, and I mean, it just comes down to the final break in, and St. Clair Saints is able to batten down the hatches. Cootie drops 37 and 27 for the dub. 250 to 225, and again, Fisher, a good showing there, but again, Quinn, you mentioned it, looking like they came out a little bit slow slow in that map, and it was really that second set of rotations heading into the third where you saw it was just such a big margin that St. Clair Saints was able to get, but Fisher able to fight their way back into that map and just kind of stalls out, not able to break into that P1. But Quinn, what a first map of a best of 7 here in the grand finals, and as you mentioned, St. Clair Saints have proven that Fisher does bleed.
Yeah, for Vault Hardpoint as well, this has been a problematic map for the St. Clair Saints as of yesterday, losing 2 of their 4 maps that they have lost all season long yesterday on map 1 Vault Hardpoint. So in the grand finals, where it matters truly the most, they are able to button it down, and we talked about the importance of the rotational gameplay. Matt, they were there almost every single time when a new hill popped online. The Gunny, it's unquestionable for the St. Clair Saints. For Fisher, you lose out ever so slightly on a couple of rotations, and that truly is the dagger when all is said and done in the first map. But hey, we still have a best of 7 to go. Between these two teams, we very well could be going the distance.
Yeah, and for me in that St. Clair Saints roster, I mean, when you win that first map in such a long series like a best of 7, there's so much confidence gain and there's so much really stamina that you get from winning a map like that in this best of 7, because that could propel you to all of a sudden into the next S&D. You snowball those 2 maps together, you're up 2-0, and then you got a few maps to play with. You always put the pressure on the side of Fisher. For the flip side, though, Quinn, Fisher makes an astronomical comeback at the end of that map. If they can ride that momentum, right, into this S&D, not this series up at 1 apiece, then kind of carry the momentum of like, hey, we just beat these guys on a vault control yesterday, let's get back on the high horses. A lot of momentum still being jockeyed for here, especially heading into a Rewind, Search, and Destroy, which, Quinn, I know you and I are so glad to see back. Our first Rewind that we're going to get to cast back in the booth together, in a map that I know a lot of Call of Duty fans desperately missed, and we're really excited to see these two teams kind of battle it out here in this map too.
Truly an injustice that it was ever cut out of the map pool, but if you came here for a TED Talk, that obviously isn't what I'm going to give. That being said, Rewind S&D, for the side of St. Clair Saints, it did not go well last time. The entire best of 5 did not go well last time, but especially on the Rewind S&D, as it was 6-2 in favor of Fisher. And I think one of the interesting aspects about having the Rewind come back in towards the tail end of the season is the fact that a lot of these teams, well, most of these teams, didn't really get a lot of good reps on this map mode combo. So you're kind of coming in a little bit more cold into a map like this. Your strats might not necessarily be as close as you might want them to be to an S&D map that you would want to be playing. So you're looking at both of these squads, and it kind of really brings prevalence to the idea of, hey, whoever's going to win these rounds a lot of the time might very well come down to the first bloods.
Yeah, and I mean, on a map like Rewind, where it is very kind of one-dimensional, right? 3-lane kind of typical Call of Duty S&D map that we've used to seeing, a lot of teams either thrive or drown in those conditions, right? Especially in BO6, where we've seen a lot of S&D plays a lot differently. It could just be so one-dimensional, where you're only hitting one site. You're getting the bomb planted within 10 seconds. I mean, you think to Vault S&D, you think to Skyline S&D, where you can turn those maps into bang out. Rewind's not necessarily the same way. You have to clear out some of those angles. There's a lot of cruddy positions. Hitting that connector door from generators in the mid is a big alleyway late in rounds. It's going to be really interesting to see which team is able to find those avenues of open area and find those first bloods, Quinn, which I think, as you said, are going to be super influential to whoever's going to have success.
Yeah, and yesterday when we saw on the main broadcast St. Clair going up against CMCC, that's basically the determining factor of who won every single round in that map. So we jump on in with Fisher, St. Clair, map number 2, early and often. We're towards the bottom side of the map. St. Clair with the bomb in hand, looking to make some motion happen.
A couple early chows and shoulders thrown out, and KB's going to have a few tags on, but again, no first blood, as we mentioned, just of yet, still 4-4. A lot of utility, though, being thrown out between two of these teams. And St. Clair a little bit stuck right now over towards this B Street side, but you see all 4 of these arrows starting to move, maybe the rotation here into the mid area to A.
Time ticking away as well. No first blood drawn quite yet, but it might come here. It's going to be found there. Phantoms with the drop. KB with the first on the board is going to give an opportunity for the St. Clair Saints to potentially gain the control of the video store. You see Fisher start to back up ever so slightly, trying to find some COD timing to equalize things down. Dylan with the spot on through, but not the kill as KB has the coverage. KB with the third as well. A masterclass to open things up out of him. We'll cut Matt, the last player standing in a 1v4. We'll at least make it a 1v3, but for how long is the question? The triple chow on through gives the information. It's just a matter of time until he's shut down.
Yeah, I mean, the bomb's going to get planted, kind of add a little bit of extra pressure onto his shoulders here. And now for Bowl Cut Matt, you're just going to have a miracle here. You got a player wrapping around through your back. That's the 4th kill, and St. Clair Saints looking good and keeping the foot on the gas pedal, Quinn. That was a perfect round from them, and as you called it, K. Beasley inside of the mid area, just perfectly overwatching with the bomb, able to find the 3-piece in the round. Goody's going to clean it up for the 4th, but from the whole St. Clair Saints roster, it feels like a different team from yesterday to today.
I mean, just ridiculous how the turnaround has happened. They have come into it with a different mentality. It looks like a little bit of a rough day for them yesterday, but obviously they are able to weather their way through the storm, get to the grand finals, and they're going to play like it here and now. Fisher bomb in their court now. What can they work it?
Going to be in the hands of Bowl Cut Matt. Early pressure here into Jins. Phantom's couple tags onto him, so back out of it for now. But again, slow plays from the side of Fisher. Again, you just don't want to give up that first blood, as we mentioned, Quinn, and it's kind of leaving Fisher to play a little bit timid here, and that's going to be another first blood to drop. Will be traded back out, but still a 3v3.
Good equalization there out of Brack. Gets the timing onto Rooper. Brings us to a stalemate once again. Really without the man advantage here for Fisher or the St. Clair Saints. You're not going to see the play start to develop. That being said, a good slide chow out of Brack will firmly place it in the hands of Fisher, and an overzealous play out of Cootie will see him fall as well. But Seawads lines him up for 2, brings it down to a 1v1. Looking for the re-engagement here around the corner with the knife in hand. Instead, is not going to be found, pulls out the gunny and decides to retreat.
Both these players just on opposite corners of each other right now, refusing to move. Brack knows that he's got to get this bomb and get it planted, but still time to work with. Will tick into red, 28 seconds left. To Seawads still looking for the 1v3, still trying to find the ultimate timings. The slide comes out, the spin won't happen, and Brack will avoid disaster for the side of Fisher. Ties things up 1-1 and avoids the 1v3 masterclass.
Yeah, valiant effort out of Seawads there, but a lactacular affair as his camera just kind of gets broken. Brack with the finisher there. Good round to kick things off for him, as he also drew that first blood in favor of Fisher. Gave them a manageable spot to work from there. All right, here we go. Even things up on the Rewind S&D. Blow for blow as these two titans going at it early on within this best of 7. Regionals on the line for both of them. Their region, everything to play for.
Still knotted up here early on. A big position right now for Fisher Esports, as you see a player already making his way around to the Burger side. A big gunfight on the outside to the map here, as Rupert Skywalker will be able to find the first blood. And again, Quinn turns everything into the favor for the Saints.
Fisher not necessarily going to back up super quickly, and that actually might be to their detriment. Brack getting a couple of shots sent his way is lucky to keep his life with the cars exploding as well. There's about 72 of them on this map, by the way, folks. In the meantime, Rupert will find an additional kill on the outskirts of the play. Brack just trying to trade him out at this stage. Desperate times, they call for desperate measures, and they're not going to be answered as Rupert channels the force and sends Brack 6 feet under. The bomb plant down as well, just makes an unmanageable spot. Fisher going to lose out on the round. St. Clair picture perfect.
And again, just that big play out towards the outskirts of Burger there, Quinn. I mean, if Rupert doesn't get that kill, he goes down. All of a sudden, Fisher has the man advantage with a man in the backlines. Round could be tied up with a pretty bow, but again, it's Rupert Skywalker out towards that Burger side, shutting down 2 players, including Brack, towards the end of the round. St. Clair Saints, I mean, just on this championship Sunday, just seemingly playing better Call of Duty right now, Quinn. More double chows together, more overwatching the shoulders, more cross angles. Fisher Esports has to come up with something to kind of combat this St. Clair pressure.
Fundamentals so good out St. Clair, but now the fundamentals go out the windows. It's just pure aggression, 200 miles straight through the Rewind. It's going to be a 2-for-2 trade to open things up, a stalemate to ensue over towards this A side. St. Clair just come out guns a-blazing to open things up in this round. Now looking to recollect things over towards the video store.
Oh, the timing right here. They're not going to spot Ridiculous. The player hiding inside DVD. So Rupert Skywalker here with the shoulders on. Fisher does have full credence towards the A side to get this bomb plant, but again, not knowing that right now, just trying to clear out the angles. Now as the bomb goes down, it's going to be a perfect jow from the Saints.
Oh, wow.
Takes out the planter, and now all onto Dylan Rex. Slides out, finds the first. Will he be able to find the second on the chow? Ming around the rosy, pocket full of posies, Quinn, but he gets out with his life.
Dylan Rex so lucky to get out of that. KB is going to want that back so badly, but still has an opportunity. The spot is in, but not the kill. No tags to be found. Information gained that Dylan is still going to be around this A bomb site. Going for the plant to try and solidify play around the time, and KB is just going to let him have it. Now the information to work with here for both squads. little bit of a shimmy, back and forth, dodging, weaving, and running. Who's going to take it?
Dylan Rex around to the outside, couple of tags, won't be able to find it. The shots are in, the kill is as well. Dylan Rex with the 1v2, and Fisher knots things up on rewind as back and forth we go, just as mixy as the first map continues here in the second. And Quinn, you talk about a play at a Dylan Rex. He fakes the sound cue on the connector door, and that's what forces that player to kind of wrap around, think that he's going to be, bits the bomb down A. I mean, you want to see how to play a 1v2 inside of Rewind, and Dylan Rex just wrote the manual.
Absolutely wrecks the St. Clair Saints, and
come on,
brings us to another stalemate, 2-2. These attacking side rounds being traded back and forth. Real defining factor will be who can take a defensive sided round. Bomb in the court of St. Clair, but ball in the court of Fisher. Early aggression over towards his B side, but Fisher going to be there and ready to bat it down and kick them out of the stadium. 2 for 2. It's going to open things up in favor of Fisher. Third kill as well. Rupert quickly reduced to the last man standing. Watches all of his reinforcements fall, and now with the bomb trapped in Narnia, Fisher is hunting them down like hawks.
I mean, he quickly gets reduced to the last man standing. He may quickly get reduced to ashes as he is done, and Fisher 2 rounds in a row now with the lead in their hands. And that's the Fisher that we know. You love that early aggression, finding those kills. Dylan Rex fearless up and over the half wall to find the second kill, as you mentioned, Quinn. 4 up, 4 down round, and it puts Fisher in the driver's seat.
So now the first opportunity that was presented on the defensive side towards St. Clair is not realized because Dylan activates his third eye. And Fisher on the defensive side are able to strike first. Gives them the lead here. Now St. Clair needing a response. Bomb in the court of Fisher, where these attacking side rounds out of them have been picturesque. Bomb in their hand, making their way towards the bottom side of the map.
Early chows in, though, from the St. Clair Saints. It's some early aggression that we haven't seen out of them a lot. Seawatts is able to find the first blood there, but Dylan immediately with the trade. Back and forth we will go, but Fisher will find 2, and that'll be the man advantage in the round, as well as the 5 spree for Brack. And I mean, you've got multiple players going on streaks right now. You've got the man advantage in the round. You got the potential to go up 2 rounds as well.
Brack with the high ground is actually going to gain information on both of these players, so now you have clearance to plant this bomb if you're Fisher. Cootie and KB just trying to find an angle, trying to find a lane to make the contention on in, but the slide chow is going to be met with pure chaos with the setup play that Fisher has here. Back and forth you go over the hedges, just trying to get any shots to land. The do-si-do being played out, but it's going to sing true for the side of Fisher.
Oh!
Ridiculous scenes there. My goodness.
Just looked like we were playing whack-a-mole for a second. I mean, both teams just jumping up and down and over the half wall, just trying to gain the information onto each other. But it's Dylan Rex at the end who finds the shots with the Jackal, finds another kill on the board, and finds another round for the side of Fisher. You saw it early on, the 2-1 lead for the side of St. Clair Saints, but 3 rounds in a row now from the side of Fisher Esports has put them firmly in position to maybe walk away with this map, Quinn. All the momentum with them, multiple players on the 5 streaks. Big position for Fisher to put the dagger in this map.
Equalize us up to a 1-1 series. Here we go. St. Clair, they need a response. They need it now. Once again, trying the bottom hit of the map last time. This was pure disaster. It's looking like could be the same story in a slightly different font unless Seawatts activates for 2, gives the player personnel advantage, and now taking full space into the backlines with Phantoms not knowing any wiser to it. St. Clair and a Seawatts masterclass in response will bring us to a 3-4 scoreline.
Yeah, I mean, Saint Seawads right now over for the side of the Saints is just getting it all done. And you talked about needing a response, and sometimes it takes a special player to just make the special kind of play. And that was Seawads there, the 3-piece inside of the round, keeps St. Clair in this map number 2. Now with the 4-3 score line, stopping the bleeding a little bit, now back on the defensive side. Fisher Esports still has the positioning and the potential to put up map point. Quinn, much needed round out of the Saints.
Back onto the attacking side, Fisher will go. Set nades over the top. St. Clair full sending their way into the middle portion of the map. Trying to work their way over towards the bottom side where Fisher is trying to make their headway through. First line will come through. Back and forth we'll go in terms of the trade department, and a team kill is going to set the St. Clair Saints up with man advantage.
That's not how you want it to happen if you're on the side of Fisher. You do get that bomb recollected in the side of Dylan Rex. And the 2 players that are left, I'd have to say, are the 2 players that exactly won in this positioning, Dylan Rex and Brack. to make the 2v3. Bomb still kind of working its way over towards this outskirts side, but Cootie here, a little bit of information as the stun comes through, backs up, plays his life, and it might be the Saints kind of rotating over quickly towards this B side.
Trying to get a little bit of information to work with over towards A, but the chow from Brack is going to be disastrous, and the breakdown comes through. St. Clair, off of a team kill, they're able to position themselves with the man advantage and close the round easily. Playing within themselves brings us to an even scoreline once again, 4-4. We're watching early cinema here on Rewind.
Yeah, absolute cinema. We're watching early cinema here in this series, Quinn. 250 to 225, now 4-4 here inside of the map number 2. Both these teams still just battling it out, the two heavyweights of the CCL and of this Northeast region in the grand finals, Quinn. Big positioning here. Fisher back on the defensive side. Bomb in the hands of Cootie and the Saints.
Big response here from the St. Clair Saints. Now Fisher looking to not let it get out of hand. Streaks being dedicated on top of it as well. Somebody in this lobby is going to be playing a little bit of Rocket League. Blowing up the car at the front door. Nothing to be found here. Still looking for that first blood opportunity. Now another car being dedicated as well. Hey, let's get it going, Brack. Come on, let's see what you got. A couple of musty flicks. Hey, yo.
Oh, the flip reset? Oh, I'm not going to be able to make it happen. The first blood as well coming through on the other side for the Saints, Quinn. So this gives them the man advantage here in this round. Already the momentum with them 2 rounds in a row. Bomb will go, or make its way towards that A side, but the trade coming through evens things up into the 3v3. A lot of credence, though, over in towards the DVD store as Fisher has to back on out.
Great nade there, and now Seawad's making his way through the bottom side of the map. Could potentially find a couple of players lacking.
Oh, look at this
rotation. For the chow, the information being gained. Such good trigger discipline. Puts him behind the enemy lines. Finds him that defining kill, what could be the round in favor of the Saints. He's got the Halo Invisibility Cloak. He's got it looking for more on top of it. All the information being funneled through is going to grant St. Clair the round and the lead map point. An opportunity to go up 2-0 on our series, Matt.
And I mean, it's just such a difficult round for Fisher because all the information that comes through for you is, hey, we've got 3 inside the DVD store. You see the set nades that back you out and push you into the courtyard. All 3 players from Fisher are looking inward, looking towards the mid alley of the map. And meanwhile, all of the St. Clair Saints wrap through B Street, hit the drop on them inside of the... And it's just perfect from the side of the Saints. And now for Fisher, you need 2 rounds in a row to avoid going down 2-0 early in this grand finals and in this best of 7.
Seawad's doing everything for his squad, currently 8-5. Forspree as well has a little bit of an opportunity to maybe play some Rocket League himself. I love what St. Clair is doing, though. They're making Fisher come to them. It's exactly what you need to do. Just look and fish for that first blood. Force the aggression, but the aggression is going to come through. And it's going to be a 2-for-2 trade to even things up. KB, though, with the defining play and on the outskirts of it. St. Clair will find the last. Finds the map 6-4, sets themselves up in the driver's seat, truly 2-0 in the series.
And I mean, you blink and you miss it on that last round, and it felt like Fisher blinked, and it was 4 straight rounds in a row from the side of the St. Clair Saints to close out this map number 2, S&D. And Quinn, 2 maps in, as mixy as you like, but the St. Clair Saints have come out on top of them both. 2-0 lead now here in the series, and 2 real important maps, Quinn, dating back to yesterday in this same series with the same 3 maps to start out. It was an absolute Fisher masterclass. Right now, St. Clair Saints is right in every single wrong. You look at the breakdown there, 4-2 lead for the side of Fisher. They had won 3 rounds in a row. They're feeling like everything is with them, and St. Clair just yanks the rug out from beneath the feet.
How the turns have truly tabled at this stage of our grand finals for the Northeast region. As you said, first 2 maps yesterday went the way of Fisher. Same 2 maps, slightly different font here today as St. Clair off to a 2-0 series lead, heading into a vault control next. Truly positioning themselves within this driver's seat, rattling back 4 rounds as well, down by those 4 rounds, 4-2. Just ridiculous plays out of them, and it just goes back to the fact that they are playing so well within their own. They've gotten back to the fundamental play. They've corrected everything from yesterday, it seems. They are a different team here today.
I mean, it's just 2 different types of maps for the St. Clair Saints side, right? The first map, they're leading for a majority of it. They have almost a 100-point lead heading into that last set of rotations, and all of a sudden you see Fisher start to creep their way back into it, get it to just a 10-point margin, and St. Clair Saints absolutely ice up, shut them down at the last P1. In this one, they're down, they're out. It's 4-2. It's all the momentum with Fisher. It looks like the tides in the series may be turning, and St. Clair Saints just turns on the gas, hits that extra gear, and makes those mid-game adjustments, and that's the main definitive factor for the St. Clair Saints, is that mid-round, mid-game adjustments that just keeps going their way and has led them to a 2-0 scoreline. Obviously, you have Vault Control coming up next, which, again, Quinn, we talked about it. Same 3 map set as yesterday, but it's a complete flip. You'd have to give the edge to the St. Clair Saints with the way that they've been playing. It's not only the gunny, it's the fundamental play as well.
Yeah, St. Clair just playing with all the gas, as you said. They're playing like the best within this series. And, hey, if you want to play like the best, you're going to have to play with the best, folks. It's Scuff, the exclusive controller partner of College COD. You got to head to scuff.co/College COD and dominate the competition with the brand new Valor Pro. If you want to play like any of these St. Clair players, or really any of these players over towards the top deck, or to Fisher, Scuff, the exclusive controller of partner of College Call of Duty. You love to see it. Big fans within the booth of those Scuff controllers, always playing with them, not necessarily playing quite like the St. Clair Saints, but maybe you at home very much could. I kind of got a little bit of arthritis fingers going on that.
I mean, sometimes, you got the great brain, but the thumbs just don't connect. That's why we're in the booth and we're not in the lobby, Quinn. But look, again, using Scuff, the official partner of College COD, and again, we love them so much here in the booth. But Quinn, back to the nitty-gritties of the series. 2-0 up for the side of St. Clair Saints. Absolutely dominating right now. Fisher needs a response here in this map 3.
Will that response come? We will have to see after a very quick break. Going into Vault Control when we come back from it, folks. Do not go anywhere. Grand finals within the Northeast region. Potential preview of the National Championship. You are watching the College Call of Duty Twitch channel. Jumping back on into our grand finals within the Northeast region. Fisher College currently down 2-0 to the St. Clair Saints. There are only 2 maps that they have lost at this point in the season. Otherwise, it's been picture perfect for St. Clair. It feels like a completely different team from what we saw yesterday, where there were a couple of headways that they had to make their way through. They've shown that resilience. They've been punched in the face, and now, Matt, they are dishing it.
Yeah, I mean, they've been punched in the face, and now they are throwing absolute heaters the other way right now. St. Clair Saints obviously up 2-0 in the series, but Quinn, the maps have been closer than the scoreline predicts. 250 to 225 inside of that map 1. Obviously 6-4 with the St. Clair Saints making a 4-round-in-a-row run to end out that map. That leads us into Vault Control. Fisher Esports needs a response right here. You don't want to go down 3-0 because a best-of-7 reverse sweep, well, we don't see it done very often, Quinn. St. Clair Saints looking to just keep the foot on the gas pedal, put the foots on the necks, and potentially go into the red card hardpoint up 3-0 with a chance to win this grand finals.
Matt, I would say what I would do if my series hopes in a best-of-7 came down to a red card hardpoint, but we're on a broadcast, and I don't think it's very broadcast-friendly. It has to be here. It has to be now for the side of Fisher. I mean, you've just come out on these last 2 maps, and although all things considered, yes, it has been close, your fundamentals comparatively to the St. Clair Saints just haven't been there on the Vault hardpoint. The rotation just necessarily not as good as St. Clair. And then Rewind, Search, and Destroy, we were talking about it in the green room. A lot of that is just the factor of who's been playing Rewind all season long. Nobody. This map is not practiced. It's a little Easter egg in the downstretch of the college season. So you're jumping in to this Vault Control. This has to be where you get back to your fundamentals. This has to be where the regain hits if you are Fisher. And all things considered, the last time these 2 teams did play Vault Control, it was in the winners finals. Fisher was able to take that 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, but unfortunately for the side of Fisher, the last 2 maps that you played yesterday against St. Clair, and you looked absolutely unstoppable. 250 to 146-2. All of a sudden, it looks like a nightmarish Sunday performance right now, as the St. Clair Saints have come out firing on every single cylinder. Every facet of the game looks to be clean and polished heading into this Vault Control. 2-0 up. But the St. Clair Saints are looking to put a definitive 3-0 scoreline on the board, and what could put them on series point heading into red card. But first, Vault Control on the board.
Jumping on in, St. Clair onto the attacking side. They will go, but Fisher looking to bring some moxie early on. A couple of kills swing their way to open things up in the middle portion of the map as they deal the deck of cards early. It's 4 dead in the feed, and it's in your own spawn now.
And that 2 break looking like they needed it right now. Fisher coming out on all cylinders, hasn't dropped a life. 7 kills already in the feed, fighting out of their spawn. Finally, the St. Clair Saints, a little bit of an opening, but you still have Dylan Rex towards this bottom side. A perfect start for the side of the Fish.
Now, for St. Clair, I mean, you're kind of running around like chickens and you're just getting your head cut off. A couple of kills will find its way in your own spawn, which will gain credence into the middle portion of the map. That's exactly where Brack is set up, reared, and ready to go to continue the pain, continue the action. The rest of his reinforcements will funnel on in as well, and as quickly as you can blink, you're facing the barrel of a 10-life deficit, and Fisher is absolutely putting you in the bin.
I mean, this is a tough position to get your way out of, and it is looking like it may not happen. Brack's going to light it up for 2. He's 8-0. He hasn't died yet, much like a lot of the players on Fisher. Hasn't been a lot of deaths going that way. Finally, Cootie able to find a little bit of entrance up towards this cat's side. Still 22 seconds left here, Quinn, to potentially make your way in for maybe 1 tick, but the kills continuing to come through. A 2-for-1 trade, immediately traded out by the side of Fisher.
Well, 10 playing 22 at this stage of the map, Matt. You're just looking for as many ticks as you possibly can to set yourself up for future rounds. If you're on the side of St. Clair, one will come through, but the rest might be up and chalked. Fisher on the pinch play as well, starting to develop and looking to find all of these kills, continuing to tick that time away. Justifiable plays here on the defensive side as they have come out firing on every single cylinder. A last late hit into the hill as St. Clair will maybe find a little bit of reprieve, maybe an additional tick on the board to set themselves up for success, or maybe the entire A site. Hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have respawns enough to win the game, but they might have enough just to get this A site, and that would be huge for them going into these next couple of rounds. They get the extra minute on the clock. They get the 3rd tick more importantly. 2 lives remaining. Again, not going to be able to do a lot here, but a win in a very, very dark round, and at least you get a little bit of a light in the tunnel.
All things considered, within a control round, if you take any of the sites fully, that's a good round. So, especially coming out of what we just saw, where Fisher was in their own spawn for the grand majority of that round, I would say St. Clair was able to mitigate at least part of the disaster there. Obviously not going to finish with the round on the board, but that just happens on the attacking side. Now they'll go on to the cushiony defensive side, trying to take a page out of Fisher's book. The thing that Fisher has done here with this defensive round, they've set themselves up with an opportunity to kind of play bully ball with the momentum that they just generated. If they can take an attacking side round, Matt, could be able to set themselves up for their first map on the series.
Yeah, and you only need 3 ticks to match what St. Clair just did. As well, Quinn, ending out with that 12 life advantage. You're also going to be in really good shape if this does come down to the kills heading into a round 5. But again, if Fisher plays the way they played in that first round, we could see them going up 2-0. So a lot still to be played for early on in this map. And the early hit here right on into the A site.
Looking for a rhythm reset here if you're St. Clair. Just not a whole lot found within that first round, but you will find the opening break to favor you in terms of the kills. Brack still kicking in the hill. None longer. 13 and 5 off of the first, but now he'll be sent back to his respawns as the rest of the team will go. Trying to make a little bit of credence over towards the top side of the map, but it's going to be immediately shut down as well. So now Fisher starting to see similar territory until Brack just says, you know what, I'll do it myself, boys.
Hold on, wait a minute. 4 dead in the feed all of a sudden for Fisher, and now credence in towards this A site. Even life advantage right now for both of these teams, and all of a sudden that first tick of progress may be able to be secured here for the side of Fish, and now the St. Clair Saints needing the re-break back on into the mid area.
First tick of progress over towards A. St. Clair, they are here and they are ready to play, though. 2 kills will matriculate their way, and now for Fisher, you're not necessarily going to be gaining a lot of good time on the board, so as good as the setup was, it's all for naught, except for 1 tick on the board. Life disparity as well, not necessarily favoring you, as St. Clair starting to make their tents and bolster up in your spawn.
Yeah, now they can just play the spawn trap right now for Fish. It's all about just taking it slow, finding the kills that you need. You still have 30 seconds left to make your way on out, but St. Clair, all of these power positions, looking to make good on them. Brack with another big kill to carry his team through this. It's the first line of defense dealt with. Cootie falls as well. 2 dead in the feed. Now 3. Siwad's the last man standing. If they're able to take him out, it's credence on the A site, and now you've got the double stack in.
Second tick of progress surely secured. Can they get the third? Can they get the extra minute on time? 17 playing 15 as well, so this is very manageable here for Fisher. St. Clair Saints, though, they're trying to disrupt the play ever so slightly, work their way into the middle portion of the map. A 2-for-1 trade will immediately be equalized out. But KB starting to kick right back. He'll be shut down as well. A duck, a dive, a dodge is not going to be the credence that you might be looking for, but Fisher says, you know what? We'll make our way right back on in, and we will take it with brute force over towards A. Now you have to turn your tail over towards B. 11 playing 9.
Yeah, and that's just bully ball right into the A site, and that's that extra minute on the clock. There's still good setups from St. Clair here over towards this top art side. You're finding the kills necessary, but again, for Fisher, a huge win in this round and knot things up in the tick department between both teams. 3 ticks for both, as now 48 seconds left here, only 6 lives remaining.
Now for St. Clair. Just have to play the fundamental defense. If you're Fisher, though, get one clean dead in the feed. You very well could gain your credence that you're looking for. A 2-for-1 trade opens their way over towards the B side, but now you're ever so close to the additional factor being that you might be running out of respawns. A couple of kills once again. You find the stack on through, but now you're down to no respawns. It might not matter, though, if Bull Cut Matt continues to press the action forward. St. Clair will be able to cut him out of the play, though. Now Brack, the next line of offense onto the hill. First take of progress gained, 5 playing 3.
And they still found 2 more kills, now all into an S&D 2v4 still. Rupert from the top side, KB from around the back, able to find 1, but again, still the 1v3, just not able to make it happen. But Quinn, the bigger story throughout that round, that first tick of progress getting secured over towards the B site, puts Fisher in the lead by 1, heading back onto the defensive side where they showed absolute dominance in that first round. St. Clair, a little bit more of a bend, don't break kind of mentality throughout that first defensive side.
It works for the round, but yes, absolutely. For the side of Fisher, you definitely laid out the better defensive round. Definitely looking better in the landscape of this map through the first 2 rounds. But now you go back onto that unfavorable side. If you are St. Clair, you're looking to gain the headway within this map. Keep your series hold. We're going to have a little bit of hold up in the game as we have a little bit of a host end situation. It wouldn't be Call of Duty without one, though, folks. Currently tied 1-1 apiece between these 2 squads as they are both going at it on the vault control. Where Fisher College, they need to make their regain here and now. And they look to be doing so, all things considered.
No, all things considered, throughout the first 2 rounds, Fisher definitely looking like the stronger of the 2 teams inside of this map in particular. Obviously, St. Clair coming into this with the 2-0 lead. But you talked about it. I mean, St. Clair was really the only one throwing those big kind of knockout haymaker punches, and all of a sudden, it's the Fisher Esports squad that comes out in that first opening break on their defensive round, sends everyone back to the respawns. They set up the spawn trap immediately. Obviously, on the offensive side, things do come down to the S&D type game. 4 playing 3, they're just not able to quite edge it out, but in the lead of the tick department, it's going to set themselves up nice if this does go to a round 5. But Quinn, all things considered, we're still knotted up at 1 apiece, and the St. Clair Saints have still been playing a lot better throughout these first 2 maps.
I think on that first round for Fisher as well, it was just the Brack attack. I mean, we said
literally.
It was 12-4 through the first round alone.
He's 8-0.
Got a third of the kills. 8-0 in the early stretch, as you said there, partner. I mean, he was just wheeling and dealing. You need that if you are Fisher, currently down 2-0 in the series. You're just looking for any amount of response. You're looking for one of those players to stand up and say, hey, you know what, guys? Last 2 maps, we forget about it. We still have a lot of life. You still need to win 4 maps within a best of 7 to take that best of 7. So St. Clair, half of the job done, but half of the job is not enough when you're up against a Goliath like Fisher. That being said, though, I mean, those are the first 2 maps that they have dropped all season long, so their first little bit of adversity. Additional factor being there, seeing how they respond to it in this map 3.
No, absolutely, and it does look like they are responding well, at least through the early stages. Obviously, still knotted up at 1, so 3 more potential control rounds on the board, followed by that red card hardpoint. But for the side of Fisher, it's like you mentioned, this is not a team that has been down. This is not a team that has lost the map up until today, so we are kind of seeing how they respond to a little bit of pressure, to a little bit of adversity, and you're going up against the number 2 team in the CCL landscape. Obviously, the St. Clair Saints and Fisher, this could be, we've talked about it, the preview of the national championship. This is the 2 teams that we've been looking at all season long, and you're looking at their regular season records that also prove that. 14-0 coming through both these squads. Obviously, the only team that St. Clair had lost to up until this point being the Fisher squad. Rematch, revenge, everything still to be played for here, Champ Sunday. Quinn, we're still only in a map 3. This series could be very, very well not close to over.
Yeah, no, I love what we bring up about Fisher, obviously. This is their first little bit of adversity. For the side of St. Clair, they faced adversity yesterday, and they are a different team because of it. Looking like a defining play for them up to be had here, opening things over towards this next round as we bounce our way into the vault control once again. It's going to favor Fisher off the early breakoff, but look at where Seawads has made himself onto their side of the map.
Yeah, and he's got that top art positioning, and now just trying to be the nuisance over here, slow down these respawns ever so slightly, allow his team that credence into the B site, and he's finding a couple of kills to go along with it. Finally shut down, but the first tick of progress secured over at the B site. It's good for the side of the Saints, and right now, 1 life advantage to go along with it.
A customary breakoff for the Saints. It actually starts to work their way. You're doing a little duck, a dive, a shimmy, a dodge into this B hill, just trying to keep your hopes alive of getting that hill, but it's not going to go your way. You still get 2 ticks of progress, and now the regain into this A hill. You'll have Fisher make their way through. You're able to cut St. Clair back ever so slightly, and now for Fisher, you have a little bit of a moment to breathe. You still have the life disparity as well favoring you. Gotta push up into these spawns ever so slightly.
Multiple players trying to make their way just kind of one-dimensionally in through the mid-area. Bowl cut Matt, the first line to cut them off, finds the first, and now trying to get into the spawns, trying to be that thorn in the side that we love to talk about as the St. Clair Saints look to take a little bit of an alley up through the Cat side. As again, it is Fisher that still holds the life advantage, but starting to dwindle a little bit here with the Saints showing up in the kill feed.
Dropping down from Cat. Unfortunately, you're just going to meet the Brack attack once again, who's activated again within this round 6 and 2 to open things up. Maintaining the stronghold here for Fisher, but eventually he will be found out. St. Clair from every single angle. They break their way into a 3-stack, a 4-stack on through. This time is about to start going away very quickly.
Yeah, it's going to go very quickly, and I don't know if anyone from Fisher is going to be able to get there in time. That third tick of progress just zooming down the highway is gone and dusted. Now only needing 1 tick over towards the B side away from winning this round. The St. Clair Saints with an ultimate rebound off their first defensive drive.
You've equalized the live out as well. 16 playing 16. You just need one more tick over towards B, and you're finding all of the kills to justify as well. Go huge down the mid cut. Heel will be cut down. Rooper as well is just absolutely applying the pressure. Now for the Fisher players, you just can't make it onto this hill. A defining attacker side round out of St. Clair and a masterclass to open things up on vault control as we bounce back into the action.
And Quinn, I don't know how many times that we have to mention it on the offensive sides of almost every control map. It takes 1 4 dead and a 4-stack on hill to just walk away with the map, and you see it right there. Once they get the A site, there's players just flooding all around. The gunny was there to go with it, and everyone from Fisher meeting their demise as the St. Clair Saints. An ultimate bounce back after the reset. And now Quinn 2-1 up here in this control, back on the defensive side. Potential now to close this out and go up 3-0 in this best of 7.
And for Fisher, desperate times now, truly. You don't want to have your series hopes come down to a red card hard point. You need to find some resolve off of the reset here and now on your attacking side round. Quickly into A, trying to get the stack on through. Clean couple of kills will matriculate their way in the feed. As you said, clean 4 dead could very well give you the map and give you a little bit of room to work with here in this map.
Yeah, but Cootie's still... He's lurking around this top cat area. He's able to find a couple of kills now, getting into the fray. He will get taken out, but it allows for his teammates to make their way on into this A site. They find the kills, and C-Wads with a big one. KB lights up the feed, and the St. Clair Saints take back control.
Ridiculous plays there, completely shuts Fisher down. Now you can push into your spawns, or can you, is the question. Phantom's cutting his way through the top side of the map, trying to create a little bit of dimension here for Fisher to work with. You cut all the players off of the immediate hill. You're also able to deal with Rooper from the top support as well. An additional nade kill comes through to further buffer your play here as Fisher not only over towards A, but they're also over towards B.
Information overload strategy, Twin, trying to be implemented here for the side of Fisher. You're making the heads turn, and Brack is sending them to the grave. It might be the A site done and dusted. No one from Saints going to be able to get their extra minute onto the clock as Fisher leads by 5 lives as well. So everything going for the side of the Fish. Just have to close it out here towards the B site.
Cootie, the first line of offense for the Saints, trying to make his way forward, but unfortunately for him, Dylan is here, and he is looking to wreck the business for St. Clair. Still maintain these good side spawns. You still have an opportunity to maybe bolster your defense, and you will see Wads activating forward. Will be able to cut 2 from behind. Sends Fisher back to their own spawns, and now for St. Clair, you're getting ever so close to equalizing the life deficit as well. You just have to keep playing strong, hold within your own, and you very well could continue to keep this round manageable.
12 playing 14, definitely not out of the realm of possibility here, especially on the defensive side, but 2 dead in the feed from the side of Fisher as they start to move their way up in towards this B site area. Another kill to come through, but still KB from that top art positioning, able to just rip heads and put them to bed. You gotta deal with that if you're gonna have any credence onto this site. Finally in for a little bit of time, but players from the Saints lurking all around.
Here comes the hit from Fisher, though. Player on the hill is maybe going to be able to collect that second tick of progress, but in the nick of time, Cootie comes through. It actually is collected, though. Hold on, wait a minute. You're not coming through in the nick of time. Second tick of progress is there. 7 playing 9. Fisher coming off of the respawn, slow and steady. With 57 seconds left to work with here, Matt. They have a lot of headway to make their way forward. Can also play for the lives as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You just have to keep an eye on that clock ticking away ever so slightly, but every kill matters for the side of Fisher as you get 2 big ones there. Bring them down to 5 lives remaining. Now you can make a little bit of that headway you talked about right up through the B lane. KB still ripping and putting him to bed from the top side, but he's not going to be able to do much. Now the hit has to come through. Cootie with 1, Skywalker with 2. They light it up and they absolutely hold here on the B site. 35 seconds remaining.
Fisher, you have an extra life to work with here. 5 playing 4, St. Clair on S&D. But all it takes is 1 clean hold. All it takes is 1 clean break on the other side of the coin. 24 seconds left. It's going to come down to the lives here. Nades over the top from Rupert. Just trying to create any bit of separation that he possibly can. But you have to play so close to this hill on top of it as well. Cootie, the first to strike, cuts Bolt Cut Matt out of the play. Respawn will come through. S&D with 10 seconds left, Matt.
Cootie. Early chow on in, not going to be able to find anything just yet. He gets taken out. It's a 2 big dead. KB able to trade 1 back, but again, a 1v3. Now for KB, has to hold the line, has to get in for the time. They might walk away with the tick, and he's not going to be able to get there. Going to a round 5 as both teams putting offensive round wins on the board and pushing this 1 more round. St. Clair Saints and Fisher with an absolute barn burner here inside of Vault.
The ridiculous mirror effect off of the reset. Now Fisher, we talked about it, that 1 tick over towards B could have been the defining moment for them, and it truly will be. Should be on the defensive side here in this next round. Now for St. Clair, you need to replicate that attacking side round that we just saw out of you. Here we go.
How do they bounce back, Quinn? You know that Fisher needs this map. You can't go down 3-0 to a St. Clair squad that is playing quite like this. Into the final moments of this vault control of this map 3. Fisher, the early hit, looks to be a little bit of pressure out towards both sides, kind of trying to be prepared from a St. Clair push. This is going to allow Cootie a lot of credence here. He just works his way almost free into the back lines, and that could be a dire position for the side of Fisher.
Seawash with the opening pick over towards B as well, waiting for the reinforcements to come on in as Cootie will arrive there in time with that top arc control being gained as well into the spawns. Fisher is going, but maybe not the wise plays. You have players over towards this B hill. You're able to cut Seawads out of the play, though. You still have to deal with Cootie over towards top arc. Get the spot on for him, and he will be shut down as well. So a play for St. Clair that looked disastrous for Fisher is actually very well mitigated from the side of the Falcons. Now you're working your way into the middle portion of the map, and you're looking for an opportunity to cut them off the time.
Right now on the ace side of St. Clair Saints, a little bit of pressure here. Bolt Cut Matt around to the back, won't be able to find much. Trades do come through, but it's Skywalker for 2. Trades going all around, a mixy mosh pit of kills. 3 for 2 in the feed. Seawad's big fight if he can win it here over towards the ace site. Not going to be able to do so, and Fisher holding by the skin of their teeth right now, but right back onto the ace side of the Saints.
Second hit into the hill is going to be uncontested from Fisher as well, so they might be able to take this 3rd tick of progress here and now. Fisher with the last desperate hit on in is not going to be able to make it through the barrage of nades, though, and unfortunately for Fisher, now your hopes and dreams all ride over towards this B hill within this map, and the hopes and dreams of not going down 3-0 in the series on top of it as well. You're able to mitigate the initial pressure being sent from St. Clair, but here comes Rupert trying to get his way onto B.
And Rupert just going to stop the time here, wait for his teammates to come through. A perfect read into Vault, just not able to find the kill. The trade comes through from Seawads, almost dead even on the lives as well, Quinn. Both of these teams battling right now as the shots come through once again. St. Clair, a little bit of pressure here now onto the B site, but 2 kills to come through from Fisher. Shut it down once again, and everything slows down ever so slightly. 3 players from St. Clair getting sent back to the respawns.
Fisher just collecting themselves so well on this defensive side. 16 playing 14, just trying to be very careful with how far you send yourself out. Brack on a solo mission to try and create some disarray, and he absolutely will. He goes and handing out the beams. Now for Fisher, you have the opportunity to press the action into the spawns, just trying to back up the Saints as much as you can.
And you mentioned it, the Brack attack, and he smells blood, and the water goes for another there. But again, as you see, it helps for all of Fisher to just corral around these spawns. 7 lives all of a sudden remaining for the side of the Saints. Fisher just has to sit back, play it smart, make sure they're keeping track of the kills. Seawads is going to be able to slip in through the back lines, 2 dead in the feed as well. But look at Bolt Cut Matt on the chase.
Bolt Cut Matt, the turn and burn out of Cootie might actually give a little bit of credence for the St. Clair Saints to work with here. Still 6 playing 11 and Seawad's going down. Might actually be the window shut. You're over towards the B side, but it's just a 1-man band in KB. Cootie over towards P4 is well going to be cut down. Now for St. Clair with no respawns remaining. Fisher everywhere all at once. What is the response?
You get a grenade kill to go your way, but again, it's just the no respawns that just keep breaking you down. 2 lives remaining now here for the side of the Saints, and I don't think they're going to be able to do much, Quinn. 1-2 dead, and Fisher able to find their first map within this best of 7, avoids going down 3-0 in the series, and Quinn now sets us up 2-1 heading into red card hardpoint.
Again, when you've been punched in the face, what is the response, Fisher? They are able to gut it out on this map number 3. At the very least, we'll be seeing the Hacienda S&D for the 5th map. Now for St. Clair. I mean, you obviously start off hot, but the response is in from Fisher. Heading into red card hardpoint, can you regain the driver's seat, or does things take a turn ever so slightly?
Yeah, and I mean, Quinn, we talked about it, even though going into this map, the scoreline was 2-0, it didn't necessarily dictate how close the series actually was. You go back and look at that rewind, search, and destroy. Obviously, Fisher holding a 4-2 lead inside of that map, and it's just an incredible run from St. Clair that ends it out. And even in the first map, 250 to 225, Fisher down by almost 100 late into that map, is able to drag themselves back to just a 9-point deficit before it slips away. You go into another hard point. Fisher's gunnies seem to be a little bit more warmed up, and now potential to even us up at 2 apiece, partner, heading into that Hacienda search and destroy. We talked about it. This still was a series, and it had to be the St. Clair Saints that put their foot down, had to keep it firmly pressed on the gas pedal, couldn't let Fisher back into this series. Fisher has a little bit of a heartbeat, a little bit of a lifeline heading into map number 4.
I think the thing about map number 4, though, that has to be changed for Fisher compared to map number 1 is the rotational gameplay, right?
Absolutely.
That really was where St. Clair made their bread and butter. Between teams like this, when you have the number 1 and number 2 team in the entire CCL, the gunny is a non-factor almost, because you know both of the teams are going to bring it. It's about getting back to the fundamentals. It's about 1 or 2 defining rotations that can completely set 2 teams apart within any given hard point, because you know these guys are all straight shooters. Again, no questions to be had there. The question mark on Fisher is, are we going to see them prioritize the rotation a little bit more? Additional factor being red card hardpoint, where the rotations are of the utmost importance. The biggest map in our rotation. A lot of rotations to be had.
and I think the big X factor for the side of Fisher is you have to have Brack shooting how he was in that last map. He was everything for the side of Fisher, and he's going to have to continue to be everything heading into these next couple of maps if they want to be able to bring this one back. Obviously, you saw Dylan Rex getting into the fray a lot more, Phantoms as well. With the sub in for Bowl Cut Matt, we've got to see a little bit more for him heading into the rest of this series. You have to see the full 4 players be able to kind of match what St. Clair's been able to do, because we've touched on it all series long, and it's that fundamental play of the side of the Saints. It's always being willing to double chow, always being willing to bait for your teammates, and the biggest thing for them was those rotations inside of that map 1. And spawn manipulation, I feel like, is the thing that goes by the wayside for the St. Clair Saints squad, right? How many P2s did we see where Fisher spawns out right in the backlines? It looks like they're going to have an easy break on in. St. Clair reads into it perfectly. They're able to play the hill from the front side, and they're able just to shut you down no matter what spawns you're given inside of those hills.
And the ability to manipulate spawns like that, especially if you can translate it over to a red card hardpoint, is massive in the deck of St. Clair. Again, it just feels like they have learned from what they did yesterday. Obviously, not necessarily having the best showing across the board yesterday. You're still able to make it to the grand finals, and you are making your right plays here today. For the side of Fisher, is this the start of the comeback, or will St. Clair be able to find the regain once again on red card hardpoint and sail our way through the rest of this series? At the very least, we're going to a game 5 within this best of 7. No 4-0. Woo! I guess it's just a 3-0 curse for us here, Matt.
Hey, we broke it, though. We broke it on Friday. Remember, we had a map 4.
That is true.
We're going to a map 5
true.
today. Look, we're
Absolute
up
cinema.
for playoffs. We're breaking curses here in Fisher right now, trying to break the curse down 2-0, trying to bounce back into the series, now 2-1. Big red card hardpoint, big swing map win potential here for the landscape of this best of 7. Quinn, again, you had the St. Clair Saints. If they just bounce back, if they hit that regain right back up 3-1, you look at Fisher now to have to win 3 maps in a row. On the flip side, if Fisher is able to walk away with this map, put their own run up on the scorecards, make it 2-2, heading into a Hacienda S&D, things get ever so mixy within this series. Quinn, we've had 3 absolute barn burners. It doesn't look like we're going to have anything different with this red card hardpoint. Here we go, right into the action. Map number 4, grand final, St. Clair Saints taking on Fisher Esports.
Fork in the road within our series. Let's get it going. I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm literally out of my seat as P1 comes online. St. Clair looking to start things off hot, and they will. Cootie around the corner, able to take Bull Cup Matt out of the play, but when you look at the outskirts of the play, it's exactly what Fisher is playing for. Dylan will be able to find one, none to follow, though. Still looking to maintain these good side spawns if you are Fisher. Looking over towards his P2 side, as that will be the additional hill.
Yep, and it's another 3 dead in the feed, so early time off this P1 for the side of the St. Clair Saints, as well as Cootie creeping into the backlines again to manipulate the spawns for the side of P2. Fisher Esports already kind of on the back foot right now and not really making their way over towards this P2 side, as finally a couple players start to make that way on over. 2 kills in the feed, and Fisher now with a little bit of credence towards the back lines.
St. Clair, they're going to be spawning in the back lines. An opportunity potentially for them to maintain these good side spawns, get some good time on the board after they already got 21 seconds off of P1. Setting themselves up real well, and justifiable kills will enter the feed. Fisher going to be spawning in the back lines as well. You don't have the spawn blocking play here for St. Clair, but that might be according to their play. You talk about the spawn manipulation. Now they can just turn tail and gun, but the gunny is not going to be there. They missed that factor, and now Fisher is right back into the play.
Fisher right back into the play, and now you're going to need St. Clair Saints with a break from the back of this hill, and Fisher now trying to line up, trying to get irons on. All points going their way right now as finally a contested hill makes its way on in, but the first line of defense cut down, another one into the fray. It's a 2-for-1 trade, but Rupert and KB able to fire on back, maybe change the tides of this hill, but too mixy to tell. Finally a little bit of time for the Saints, but cut right back by Fisher.
It's just trade for trade for trade. The kill feed gets painted pinstripe once again. With 11 seconds left, you're already starting to see these players work their way over towards P3. Number 3 and number 7 on your minimap, a big gunfight up ahead. Whoever wins it should be able to maintain these spawns for P3, and it will be Cootie. Has to deal with the reinforcements coming in quickly, though, from Fisher.
And now Fisher with the player spawning out into the backlines as well. He's going to have to deal with the artificial pincher, and he's just going to have to get out of dodge there up towards the top line of this hill. Fisher still able to find a couple of kills as now St. Clair Saints spawning exactly where they want them, right into the irons, but you have to find the kills here, Quinn. 3 dead in the feed, 4 as the St. Clair Saints break in with ease.
Cootie does everything for his team. Instead of taking the chow, he just backs on up, waits for Fisher to come to him, wins big 2 kills, and gets the spawn secured for the side of the St. Clair Saints. But here comes Fisher with the nades, with the guns, everything being a factor here with a 3-for-2 trade. He's going to force Bull Cup Matt to be the lone man standing into the hill, and he will stand no longer. Artificial pinch potentially developing here for Fisher, but they're going to have to go fast.
Gonna have to go fast and gonna have to find the kills. It's 2 big ones in the feed, causes White Hill time for now, but again, the front side pressure dealt with. Trades going back and forth, and the Saints are right back into the hill. Nice little bit of time here is now all the focus over towards that P4 side. Quinn Fisher, the early rotos on over towards, but can St. Clair Saints find the break once again?
Good rotation. You're looking for the opening kills to swing their way. First one will it be more to be found here, or will the St. Clair Saints be able to recenter themselves? The shots are not centering either way, but it will be Brack able to finish the job over on that side. Maintains Fisher's presence on the map. St. Clair trying to hit a little bit of a wrap play, just trying to create any amount of dimension that they possibly can within this hit, and they will. Bull Cup Matt quickly reduced to being the last player standing, but he's under the stage making some good work happen. No longer. St. Clair's in.
The last player up, the last player down, and now sends everyone from Fisher back, and now has to force another rehit out of the boys in blue. You're going to have the first line cut down there for a 1-for-1 trade. KB up towards the top side, continuing to soak, continuing to kill, and now only 2 players left standing for Fisher.
Fisher, you need to go now, but you're going to be going straight into the wing. He wants. Finds 2, Rupert with the 3rd as well. So for St. Clair, you make some good time off of this P4. The first rotation that you didn't have, you're able to get a good break. Now you have the rotation over towards P5 as well, and you are wheeling and dealing.
I mean, you are wheeling and dealing 21s like it's nothing. Cootie 13 and 4, maybe looking to add more, but won't be able to find it there. Just a 50-point margin of lead here for the side of the Saints. Again, Fisher, the first ones into this P5, starting to soak their toes in for a little bit of time. But Seawads around to the restaurant side will add a kill here and add a little bit of a pinch going into this P5.
St. Clair, they have the good side spawns. If they're able to make good work of them, you're not on to P5, but eventually you will be able to touch on for some time. Now for Fisher, you're looking for an opportunity to get yourself back into the mix of this, but you have to be looking. You have to be looking both ways. St. Clair is here, and they are ready to play. Rupert Skywalker, my goodness, has his lightsaber out, and he's just stabbing straight through him.
I mean, he is skywalking on the haters right now, brother. I mean, that's another 3-for-1 trade, and this is what we talk about. St. Clair Saints spawn manipulation, constantly constantly spawning Fisher right out back, knowing that they can just continuously funnel them into the gunny. It's perfectly played P5. Fisher doesn't get near it after the first 10 seconds have popped. St. Clair Saints now with a dominant lead heading into the second set of rotations. And you talked about Red Card being a huge map for fundamentals, and St. Clair Saints is showing you why right now.
The Fundies are absolutely perfect through the first set of rotations. 144 playing 66 as Fisher nowhere near this hill. You're going to have to use some brute force techniques to get into it, but with the way St. Clair is playing so far spread apart, but at the same time with so many angles covered for, there's just not a whole lot that you can do.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Generational round, generational plays out of Rupert Skywalker.
I mean, everyone from the Saints right now seemingly popping off at different moments. KB's got the pistol out doing the Lord's work right now, is continuing to lay down shots from the mid area, and all the while, Quinn, all of the time has just been soaked up by the St. Clair Saints. 17 seconds left to go. They are perfectly in position for P2, and all of a sudden, Fisher is looking worse for wear, down over 100.
I mean, they just can't cut their way through the top side of the map. Every single step of the way, it's just pure beams from the side of St. Clair. They're going to have these good side spawns over towards P2 as well. Eventually, Fisher finds their way into P1, but St. Clair, again, tactful in that regard. They give up P1 because they have the good side spawns over towards this new hill. They'll be the first there. Can they find the kills is the question.
I mean, it's two big ones from Fisher, immediately traded back out, but now it will be Brack on the hill. A lonesome man to be able to find one, but St. Clair immediately with some pressure from KB is able to break their way right back on in as KB lights it up for 3. And the KB and Scrooper Masterclass continues inside of this map. Fisher now only 80 points on the board, and again, with P3 looming and how well the St. Clair Saints have been playing, it feels like an inevitability at this point, partner.
I mean, St. Clair was cyberbullying their little brothers, and now they're cyberbullying Big Bro. What is the response, Fisher? Where is it to be found? Bull Cup Matt, just nothing to be seen. KB with 2, and that's going to be St. Clair with the scrap on the board. For Fisher, you just have to hightail it over towards P3. But that's exactly where St. Clair is going to be.
And it's every single rotation you are losing out on right now. Fisher does have a little bit of pressure, though, hitting into this hill. Rupert, the first line of defense here to make something happen. Phantoms has the inkling onto him, hands the gunfight to go as well. Fisher finds a big 2 kills to open up this hill, and finally, a little bit of uncontested time for the boys in blue. But now look at where this positioning is coming from the Saints.
Saints, they have an artificial pincher, you have the good side spawns, and you have an opportunity to hit it from both sides. Will Fisher get the read onto it? A 1-for-1 trade to open things up. Just trying to maintain play within your own here, but is it too little, too late? Even Bull Cut Matt says, you know what? It might be too late, but we are going to play it anyway. Finds the 2 kills. Fisher on for the time still. Now St. Clair, very low dimension hit back into this hill. One last try.
Everybody from the front side, but they're all winning their 1s. It's 3 in the feed. It's 4 in the feed. And a huge 20 seconds of scrap as everyone from Fisher again spawns out back. You have the quick re-hit into the hill, but you don't have the rotation now to P4, which will be where St. Clair Saints are fully going to set up. Fisher gets a little bit of scrap time, but again, has to make the long haul back over towards the stage, and you got to make your way through Rupert and Frike to do it.
St. Clair Saints are going to have the initial setup here, and this could be the backbreaking moment now for Fisher. You got to get in. You got to go now. 22 seconds left needed for the side of St. Clair to win it here. But for Fisher, you're looking for these opening kills to swing your way. They just are not. KB lines the first 2 up, brings them down. You have the player soaking up the time in the hill.
Oh my God.
It might be too little, too late.
Only 15 seconds remaining, and I mean, Quinn, there is no one even remotely close right now for Fisher. Finally, a contention to come through on the top side of the hill. Where will the gunfights go, as it's a continuous connection? 1 up top, 1 on the bottom. Fisher just trying to stay alive for the moment. Still only 10 seconds left for the side of the Saints, and there's still 23 left on the hill.
2-for-1 trade into the hill, you will go, but as you say, just needing 10 seconds left, it just feels like a net matter of not if, but a matter of when. Kills matriculate the way of Fisher as they're able to continue to stabilize themselves in this P4 hill. Now for St. Clair, you can't win it off of P4. You have to start the rotation over towards P5 if you want to win it, but again, Matt, just feels like an inevitability.
I mean, it just has to be picture perfect from the side of Fisher. They can't lose a gunfight. They can't lose a hill. Already the first kill going either which way, a 2-for-1 trade. As it will be the St. Clair Saints that need to break back on in. Fisher with a little bit of pressure out toward the restaurant and the other side of Stadium. How do they elect to hold, though, as St. Clair Saints now try to make the re-break, try to make the hit on it?
Saints playing this very slow, but they can very much afford to play this slow. For Fisher, you need to get on the time. You need to start making your regain here and now. But again, with just 9 seconds needed, Matt, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when the St. Clair Saints will be able to take this map. The cruise additionally over the top side is going to send Dylan 6 feet under. The Saints are back in for the time. Last desperate hit out bull combat will be for naught. Maybe able to get on to touch ever so slightly, but it's going to be the Saints taking map number 4.
A dominant faction as well. St. Clair Saints absolutely put them in the blender. 250 to 128. Dominating map 4 performance to put them up 3-1 in the series and put us on series point heading into the S&D. Quinn, I have not seen a more flawless hardpoint this weekend than what the St. Clair Saints just did.
It's just the fundamentals. They play so well to the fundamentals here today. And they needed yesterday to go the way that it did. They needed that punch in the face. They needed to lose a map to CMCC, lose 3-0 to the Fisher Esports boys to get that realization of, hey, boys, we don't need to overthink this. We get back into this by playing to our fundamentals. Get back to the foundational play of Call of Duty. They absolutely do so on Red Card Hardpoint, a map that is no more foundational than any other map. Now just need one more to be the champs of the Northeast region.
And I mean, you look at this breakdown once again, Quinn, and almost kind of a similar story to how the start of that Vault hardpoint went with the St. Clair Saints. The first set of rotations for them, it's a little bit more mixy, right? They kind of get just a 40-point lead heading into the second set, and then P5 to P1 is just where they absolutely dominate them, going from 104 to 180. It's almost an 80 to 9-point run between those hills, and again, just continuing that process into the next set of rotations. I mean, it was the gunny, it was the fundamentals, everything going right for the side of the St. Clair Saints, and you looked at that kill board as well. No one from the St. Clair Saints going negative, every single player winning their ones, and a huge reason of why Fisher just never able to break through the defenses is because the St. Clair Saints were absolutely gunning them out of their shoes.
No, and they were putting them into the blender as well in terms of the map control. How many times were they just spawn trapping them out of their minds? The P1 comes to mind the most because Fisher literally could not cross the 30-yard mark on the map. It was just dominance every single step of the way out of St. Clair, and it came from every single player. I know we were saying a lot about Rupert, but across the board, everybody had their own moments. Cootie, Seawads, KB, they all had those 2 pieces, those 3 pieces that defined rotations, that defined holds, and broke down the Fisher Esports boys, who are now back against the wall in the grand finals, down 3-1. We go to Hacienda Search and Destroy. They need the full sweep the other way to win it.
Yeah, 3 wins in a row, down 3-1. It'd have to be a LeBron-like finals performance out of the side of Fisher Esports to make this one happen. But again, you go into the Hacienda S&D. Look, the S&D looked good for the side of Fisher, especially early on in that. Again, we keep going back to it, 4-2 up, and they let that map slip away. And again, you have to feel like for Fisher, that's a map they should have won, would have changed the tides of this series, especially heading into this map. The St. Clair Saints have just done such a good job at almost every single game mode. And something particularly they do so well in the hardpoint, Quinn, is just kind of that factory assembly grind, right? Like, if my first player goes down, immediately refill his position, right? It's just one after another. They're constantly refilling each other's positions, everyone willing to make the early rotation, everyone willing to be the dirty man and do the route work when it comes down to it. And I think that's something that kind of separates themselves from a lot of the CCL landscape, and especially in BO6 from other teams.
And within the series, I mean, 3-1 in favor of St. Clair after they got bodied yesterday, 3-0 in the winners finals. How the turns could quickly table is all we will say as we go to a very quick break before we bounce on in with Hacienda Search and Destroy. Fisher's back against the wall. Will they give it their all, or is this their last heartbeat, folks? We'll see you in a bit. What could be the last map within the Northeast Regional Playoffs. The Grand Finals currently have us positioned with St. Clair up 3-1 over Fisher College as we go into Hacienda S&D. Hey, the vault control got things a little bit mixy, but other side than that, it has been all-out dominance from the side of St. Clair here today, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely turn it on a different level there inside of the red card hardpoint, dominating at every facet of the game. It wasn't close, Quinn. 250 to 128. Our first couple of maps going either which way, going a little bit closer and down to the wire. It was that vault that kind of made us think the Fish might have a little bit of a lifeline, but now heading into the Hacienda Search and Destroy, down 3-1 and needing 3 straight map wins that would come through a Hacienda Search and Destroy, a Protocol Control, and Protocol Search. They're going to need everything here in the last stretch if they want to bring this one back.
For Fisher, it all starts here. It all starts now on Hacienda Search and Destroy, but we said it earlier. It all started on the Vault Control. They were able to get it done there. It seems when their back is against the wall at certain paces, they are able to show some good resolve, at least within this series. Talk to me, Matt. What are they going to need on this Hacienda Search and Destroy to really set their course to get back into this?
Look, they're going to need some absolute confident plays here heading into this one. Obviously, if you're playing timid, if you're afraid to go on those chows, if you're afraid to chase those trades, it's going to be very difficult to come out with rounds, especially on a map like Hacienda. And on the flip side, you're looking at the St. Clair Saints, who have been doing everything right. The Moxie that they have been playing with, the absolute fiery speed and presence, it's all been on display today, and it's all going to be on the Fish to combat that here in the Hacienda Search. But for me, Quinn, you have to see the Fish just playing with a little bit more confidence. Don't be afraid to chase those trades, and don't be afraid to just push something out together if it works.
Here we go, bouncing our way into Hacienda Search and Destroy, what could be the last map within the Northeast Regional Grand Finals. Let's kick it on. St. Clair with the bomb in hand onto the attacking side, and you called for it, Matt. Fisher with the aggression, but it's being met with immediate re-aggression from the side of St. Clair. It's KB with opening first blood.
It's a good first blood from the side of KB just to kind of back on out. Fisher does have the wrap side coming around through Lambo, but it might be perfectly red from the Saints. Dylan Rex doesn't expect the cavalry. He gets sent to the grave, and now 2v4 for the Fish early on into this round.
Just applying the pressure forward. All you have to do. Brack, last player standing immediately. The 1v3, he will go. For St. Clair, you don't even
oh my God.
Down, Cody. Using that Omni movement, it's still very much there even after the patch, folks. St. Clair opening us up with absolute fireworks.
And I mean, that is just a heat check kind of chow. I mean, the slide up the stairs,
the
jumps out.
You didn't expect that?
No, against Brack as well. I mean, you talk about a heat check from the side of KB, and it absolutely hits on all cylinders. St. Clair Saints, again, just continuing to apply the pressure, continuing to apply the foot to the gas pedal. And now for the side of the Fish, it's already early doom and gloom here inside of the S&D. But again, Quinn, we don't want to sell the narrative on a first round.
Absolutely not. Fisher with the bomb in their hand now. What can they do with it instead of going over towards the top side? Go ahead and take us through Secret. First blood, though, in the meantime, will swing the way of the Saints. Immediately equalized out, though, as Rupert Skywalker will be taken out of the fray. Down to the 3v3. Dylan Rex looking to activate forward, but it's just Tags finally finds the kill. Information being gained, but Cootie in the backlines is going to continue to wreak havoc. It all comes down to a 1v1, which Brack will be able to take in favor of Fisher. When you need him most, the Brack attack is here, and he's ready to play.
Hey, man, they don't ask how, they ask how many. In a mixy round, at least it leads to a 1-1 scoreline. And you mentioned Brack with the absolute hero play to find the 2 kills towards the end of the round. Keeps the Fish in it here early, and it keeps us back and forth on the Hacienda, Quinn. Still a lot to be played for, but you have to love the round out of Fisher to be able to kind of handle the pressure that St. Clair came with.
Such great work. Equalizes us out. Saw it go blow for blow early on the rewind S&D. You're looking for the first team that's going to find a defensive round once again, at least with these early trends. St. Clair, we're towards the top side of mid. Going to get active early. Fisher's going to play very well collected, very backed up. Wait for the Saints to come to them.
It's a very slow round, especially comparative to what we've seen throughout the first 2, as both of these teams try to make those mid-game adjustments. Early spot from Rupert is going to be a little bit of information here. Stuns and nades being thrown out. Still no one wanting to make that first mistake just yet, Quinn, as a couple of tags being fired out over the side of Hasi.
Just looking for that first blood. Neither team really wanting to sell their soul in order to gain it, though. Waiting for both teams to run into them, but now over towards this rock side, Bullcut Matt, the cavalry arriving in front of him, the information being gained, and he backs out wisely with his life. Nades over the top, and that's actually going to activate Cootie on the backside for the play, which shuts it down for Fisher. Rupert able to get a third as well as full credence being granted. Now Dylan into the 1v4, just trying to do anything that he possibly can. There's just not a whole lot that you can do in a spot like that, though, as St. Clair breaks it down in their third attacker side round.
And just like a house of cards, it just comes falling down. Cootie finds the perfect wrap there, Quinn, to be able to find the first 2 kills. Opens up the round, and again, it's just those plays, willing to take chances, willing to go for it, and you're seeing the St. Clair Saints just playing with that type of confidence right there. And a player like Cootie, when he's making chows like that, 6-1 start, why the hell wouldn't he be playing with some confidence?
Wow. I mean, he's done everything for this St. Clair Saints team all weekend long. You even go back to their first time on the main broadcast against CMCC. He was just everywhere for his squad. Now for Fisher. Looking on this attacking side round to continue the trend. St. Clair, with the first blood on the board, is going to make that a little bit more difficult than it seems.
And very early on into this, but Dylan Rex looks to go on the aggression, looks to find the trade out. So now into the 3v3. Fisher still with the bomb in hand. Bowl cut Matt looks to make his way on over, but Seawads with the wraparound is able to find the kill, drops the bomb, and gives the man advantage to the side of the Saints.
Bomb recollected, though, by Dylan, trying to just back out with his life. Very well could run into the irons of Seawads, which he does, continuing to apply the pressure down in secret, finally taken down by Brack. But into the 1v2, Brack will go with the bomb in hand. Where does he elect to go? St. Clair is going to flood their way over towards B, which is going to present a fully clean A. In the nick of time, St. Clair is going to clear out that B site. They will be here and ready to contest over towards A.
Yeah, and especially with the information coming through as well. It's all on to what Brack can do here inside of the 1v2. We've seen him do it before, Quinn, but this one a little bit more difficult. He does have the bomb planted, though, adds that extra pressure to the 2 players of the Saints. But look at the Chow coming in. It's just bad timing. You run right into the 2 players of the Saints. Rupert finds the trade, an easy one to find the defuse on, and that'll be the Saints' third round on the board and solidifying themselves in the driver's seat of this map 5.
And there's no better way that you could play that if you are the Saints, just holding hands every single step of the way. You never saw those 2 arrows a centimeter apart from one another. They clear out the top side of the map. They make the whole round the world strategy. We're playing strat roulette in the grand finals. For Brack, there's not a whole lot that you can do in a spot like that. Now, first defensive round, swinging the way of St. Clair.
I was going to say as well, I mean, that's exactly what St. Clair's hoping for, right? That's best case scenario is that Brack literally just runs right into your noggin and you're able to find the trade. It goes their way, again, 3-1 for the side of the Saints. Cootie has the bomb in hand and some early aggression through the bottom and tops of mid. Fisher trying to recollect here and trying to regain. Early tags on in, but no first bloods gained for either side.
Those were a lot of tags from Fisher. They had the whole shooting gallery up towards top mid, so if you're the Saints, you're kind of wiping the sweat off the brow and just saying, hey, we got out of that one. Now turning the tides ever so slightly over towards this B side as bulk up Matt has to get out of that. RC car being dedicated towards the play as well. No more Rocket League to be found, though, as this B site gains a little bit of an opening.
And some information as well from Cootie from that RC. Knows that no one's directly on the bomb. Bulk up Matt has made a little bit of a play, maybe trying to sneak a few shots at the toes. Fisher, though, not going to quite push up, and neither are the Saints. And you do look at number 2 all the way on the other side of the map. So he's got that full information onto the A site clearance. So that'll allow the bomb to make its way over there as a few more kills come through as well. And it's a perfect play from the Saints.
If Rupert's just on the solo mission over towards the top side of the map with 3 kills, you just can't be letting him get away with that. Bull cut Matt doesn't check his corner. The donut stays through 5. It just is a breakdown from the side of Fisher. There's not much else to be said. Rupert should not get 3 there.
And I mean, Seawads is the guy that makes that play happen. I mean, we mentioned it throughout the mid portion of that round. I saw him all the way on the A side alone. I'm like, he's going to con that to his teammates, and that's going to be full credence done. Once they're done and out of the B side, it forces the rotation on from Fisher. And like you said, I mean, it's just Rupert waiting for the exit kills there. No one checking their corners. And Fisher right now, it does look like the pressure may be getting to them a little bit. Looking up at that score line, 3-1 in the series, 4-1 in the S&D. Series point from St. Clair could be gained right here in this round.
Looking for the metaphorical dagger before the literal one. Here we go. Immediate pressure over towards the lobby side. Fisher on the outskirts of this one, though. They're working their way through the hedges over towards A. St. Clair is going to have that top support and opportunity to beam them to smithereens from the top side will present itself. Just tags over the top for now, but you're at least delaying the bomb plant if you are the Saints.
Brack still just trying to check a couple of corners here, make sure that they've got this site cleared. But meanwhile, the St. Clair Saints have had a full ability to rotate over onto this site. Bomb plant will go down here for the side of the Fish. You get a little bit of extra added pressure here, but again, you have to find the kills to justify it.
Oh
my God!
Matt,
oh my God! No,
you can't let that happen. Brack falls as well. Oh, it's a house of cards. You blink and everything falls apart. Fisher's strategy is Jenga, and you just can't do that. Oh, wow.
Oh, St. Clair, 5-1 up, Quinn. It was a mixy start to the series. We battled it out for the first 3 maps, but these last 2 have been St. Clair just flexing their prowess. Obviously, 250 to 124 inside of the red card, now up 5-1. Map point, series point, grand final point. St. Clair Saints 1 round away from taking this championship Sunday in the Northeast Division.
And they're going to have so many shots at it as well. 5, unless Fisher can rally back in a massive way that we just haven't seen to this point. This is going to be St. Clair taking the Northeast region of the CCL for 2025. Initial break off, both teams condensed within their own, but here comes St. Clair over towards that A side. It's exactly where Brack is going to be set up for the first. We'll look to find the second as well, but for now, it's just tags. This is a ballsy plant as well from Cootie. Gonna get the bomb down, and it's an opportunity now for the Saints.
You find the trades to go back and forth, so now into the 2v2, and you're right, the bomb plant being that additional added factor. Now for the side of Fisher, having to find the defuse is going to be very, very difficult. KB, the shot, finds the first. Brack, all onto him. 1v2, finals hopes all rely on the man. He's got 22 seconds here, Quinn.
Just creeping around, back, everything there to Cootie. We'll be able to find the first, but now 16 seconds left on the board. He has to get on this defuse here, and now KB just has to make the check in timely fashion. KB around the corner, it's just a matter of time. Swings the way of St. Clair as they will be crowned the Northeast Region champions.
And didn't only do it, they almost did it flawlessly. 4-1, and in the last 2 maps, just absolutely dominating them. Rupert goes massive. He goes nuclear in the map 5, 8, and 2 as the Saints come marching into this championship Sunday and dominate the side of the Fish.
Oh, wow. And again, it's just a complete narrative reversal. What we saw in the winners finals, it was a stompage from the Fish. The Fish, they are coming out slow today. Fish are drowning, I would say, but Fish don't necessarily drown. St. Clair, though, they are flying their way through this series to a 4-1 finish as they are crowned your champions for the region. Again, as we said, potential preview of the national championship. What we just saw here was a national beatdown from the side of St. Clair.
St. Clair, the kings of the Northeast, and I mean, Quinn, you look at the breakdown here, it was just absolute dominance at every single turn. There was nothing that Fisher could do. We look at it throughout the maps, right? I mean, your first couple going back and forth, but it was just St. Clair Saints that seemingly sucked the life out of the building for the side of Fisher. They make a little bit of bounce back in the vault control, Quinn. They show us a lifeline. We're thinking, hey, we might have a series on our hands. And St. Clair Saints makes us eat their words, and it makes Fisher eat their vegetables as they absolutely put the kids to bed. 6-1 to close it out after a 250 to 128 slacking inside of the red card hardpoint. The Saints dominating here on a championship Sunday.
And a championship Sunday where they were just so good at playing fundamental Call of Duty. We build it from the top of the show, from the top of the series. That was the issue yesterday where they dropped 4 maps, the only 4 maps that they had dropped within the season to that point. 3 of those going to Fisher. They're able to get back to it on the Vault hardpoint, the Rewind, Search, and Destroy. They play for the first blood. Yes, the Vault controls a little bit of a lapse, but down the stretch, the red card beat down, and Hacienda similarly so. The St. Clair from map 4 onward just took full control. No lifeline from Fisher there. Word to the St. Clair Saints as they are the Northeast Region champions.
I mean, Quinn, if you can win all your S&Ds and your hard points, doesn't really matter if you win the control.
Exactly.
I mean, if we're being honest, like, yeah,
wow.
like if we're being honest, right? Look, you win your S&Ds and your hard points, you're going to win every single series that you're in. And Quinn, again, we built it from the top of the show. It was the fundamentals for these guys. It was playing Call of Duty the right way. And for them, we knew that the gunny was not a factor. We knew that they could gun any single team in the CCL out of their shoes. But it was if they could play Call of Duty the right way, the gunny would only bring that higher. And you saw it specifically in the last 2 maps where they just absolutely knock out punch 1-2 Fisher to bed. Again, kings of the Northeast, the St. Clair Saints do it in a 4-1 fashion here on the Championship Sunday. But Quinn, a lot more Grand Finals action coming up on the cards. This was just one of 4 Grand Finals throughout these 4 regions that we will be looking at today. A few more sets of beautiful casters as well on the horizon. And shout out to our boy Robert getting it done in the production booth. It's been great being back with him. But Quinn, what a showing out of the St. Clair Saints.
It's just pure dominance from the side of the Saints. They close it out 4-1, Northeast region champions, but as you said, still 3 regions to go. We visit Mars Hill versus Newberry for another opportunity to crown a champion for you and me, though, in the booth here today. That's going to just about do it, folks. Thank you for riding with us in the chat. We absolutely love all the support for the college Call of Duty scene. We love every opportunity we get. We're going to come back after a quick break. 2 new casters will join you in the booth, and their sexy voices take you through the next bout of action.